Get ready for an unfair advantage over your competition. This is the Sales Edge podcast, where globally recognized sales expert and trainer Joe Peachy helps you sharpen your skills for booking more appointments and closing more deals. And now, here's your host, Joe Peachy.
Well, hey team, welcome back to the Sales Edge. This is Joe Peachy, and this is a power-packed episode number 29. Sales Edge is focused on you. It's helping on you getting better. It's our whole focus in producing this podcast is to help you take your business, your career, your professional, whatever it is, to take it to the next level, to get better at what you do, to focus on, what do I want to accomplish that's greater than what I'm doing right now. And so the Sales Edge comes out twice a week, every Tuesday, every Thursday. We have a new episode. Today, we are on episode number 29, and it's building a winning team. And I get questions all the time. Because people know that I spent 20 years coaching football, coaching track, just building athletic teams. And now they know that I've been in the business and doing business things for 27 years. And a lot of what I've done is either building teams or coaching companies and individuals on how to build their teams. So I spent a lot of my time, my focus, my energy, my professionalism, whatever expertise I have, focusing a big part on building those powerful teams. Just as a way of housekeeping, the Sales Edge is sponsored by Peachy & Peachy, which is a complete speaking, training, coaching, consulting company that specializes in helping companies, individuals get in front of their target market, be able to close business, generate quality leads. So today we're going to move right into building the winning team. It's been my experience that every team wants to be a business. And every team and every business wants to be a team. And let me give you an example for that. You go to a convention, a business convention, and a lot of times their keynote speaker is an athlete. And they want that athlete to give the keys, the tips, the strategies on being a great teammate, being excellent at what you do. On the flip side, you go into coaching conventions, and they got the president of a major corporation. They have a very successful entrepreneur. And so there's so much cross-selling, so to speak, cross-training, so to speak, in those two arenas. And so because I've been on both sides, I feel really excited and equipped to do this podcast today. Like I said, I spent 20 years coaching football, 10 in high school, 10 in college. And then I find myself in my 27th year in business. In the business world, many, many times, people bring me in to assess and evaluate their team. And so we start evaluating things like continuity, teamwork, skills, strategy, performance. And it's always amazing to me that I think back on my career in coaching and see similarities. I have been asked to speak at events for the National Football League, which has been really exciting for me, having come from the background of athletics, to walk in and to speak to people I watch on Sunday afternoon. Actually, the ones I'm working with don't play on Sunday afternoon anymore. These are the guys that are on their way out. They're either moving into corporate America, they're opening a business, or they're in a business. And just to understand their mindset and help them, so I do a lot of that. Teamwork is a major focus of business today. It is major. Where friction is high inside a company, productivity is really low. And you have to be really careful that, you don't get into this star power syndrome. Great teamwork creates better clarity, better focus, and better execution. Once again, let's look at those teams. I did a podcast a couple weeks ago on how the Eagles won the Super Bowl, how New England won the Super Bowl. And I would tell you one of the keys was they were able to formulate great teamwork inside the house. When formulating clarity, and clarity is when everybody is on the same page, when everybody knows where are we going, what is the destination, what do we want to accomplish, when do we want to get there. The benchmarks of time frames are all part of teamwork. You don't want the managers having one set of timelines, the execution team on another, and the CEO on another one. Gaining clarity that just permeates throughout the entire team is vital to success. Now, when you look at your focus and you look at, what does this team have to do? Your strategy has to be immersed throughout your team. Everybody needs to know, what is the strategy we're executing? What are the benchmarks? What are the goals? Your goals are your measuring stick. So when you're building a team, I recommend strongly that you have a weekly meeting in your department and you map out where are you going, and then you get into your plan of attack, your operations. Like, what are we doing in a way of strategy? That could be your lead generation. That can be, product demos, whatever. And then when we get to the execution, a team has to have accountability. Somebody on that team has to hold an accountability standard, and there has to be metrics that are continuously measured. And I've always said there has to be a bonus for good and a penalty for bad. And I'm not saying that you have to get in people's faces, but when it comes to growth and productivity, there has to be rewards for above average completion of tasks. And then there has to be some type of remediation if the job's not getting done. So more companies are put out of business because the teams don't function well together. Andre Monroe, his quote was, "Business is a combination of war and sport." Wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, I think about it, and I have my grandkids got me a sign in my office, and over the top of my desk, there's a sign that says War Room. And I look at that thing, and business can feel at times like you're in a battle. And athletics, too. I remember being a coach and walking out of the locker room and say, "Let's go to war, man." And so you see some similarities, mindsets there. I've worked with teams in sports and business for 47 years, and I've learned this, that teamwork is not optional. It is essential in competing in business. The more continuity, the more teamwork, the more the lack of internal conflict will streamline your processes and help you take it to the next level. In a world today where you have competition, technology, new information, this whole thing creates massive changes in the business culture. When there is this competition, when there is new technology, when new information comes down, when challenges come down, how good are you at rallying the troops? How good are you at pulling the team together and getting them on the same page, creating those new marching orders? It's essential that a lot of times I walk into companies and we sit down and we do, in our core story, I do an evaluation. When people think I'm selling to them, I'm really interviewing them. And I start getting them to talk to me about challenges they may be having. And a lot of times it comes down to particular people on the team that are not executing. Now, I'm going to say something that in no way am I trying to create controversy, but I am telling you from my heart to your heart that a cancerous situation is going to put you out of business. I watch athletic teams tolerate and put up with athletes that are causing cancer because they run faster, jump higher, catch better, whatever. And in the long term, in the long haul, you may win a few games because of it, but the damage it causes long term. I remember way back 100 years ago, I was a head coach of a high school, and I had just gotten the job, and there was this great player that was playing Pop Warner or Little League or whatever, and he was getting ready to move into high school. And, all I heard was, this kid's going to do things the way he wants to do things. I mean, this kid was just coming into high school. He was 6'3", 195 pounds, and ran a 4.5. And I didn't have a lot of varsity players that could do that. But we had set a standard at this school that there would be no prima donnas, there would be no cancer. Everyone would comply with training rules. Everyone would comply. And our players felt great security in that, and they felt like things were fair. Well, a number of my leaders had a very serious talk with him and his father and said, please don't test Coach Peachy. Coach Peachy is not going to treat one person differently because they run faster. Well, we got into the season and the test came. He just flat out chose not to come to practice. And this was going to be a test. And he was in the junior varsity locker room, and all the other junior varsity kids looked up to him as star, and everybody knew he was going to wind up on the varsity that year. And I remember I went into his locker and I pulled all his stuff out and took his name off the locker, and I suspended him. And of course, there was a whole lot of angst. Parents and teammates and everyone were in my office, and how can you do this? And I had everyone sign a contract. The parents would sign a contract with all the training rules as the player would. And I pulled out the contract and I put it in front of them, and I said, what does number 7, 8, and 9 say? And they read it. And I said, and what is the penalty for violation of 7, 8, and 9? And they read it. And I said, did you sign this document? Well, yes, I did. Did you understand this document? Yes, I did. So everything was clear. Yes. So the violation happened. Yes. Then you're disciplining yourselves. Well, that player was not part of our team that year. But I'm going to tell you what went through the community. I'm going to tell you what went through the players. That everyone on that team had value. That everyone was going to follow the rules. That everyone was accountable. And I didn't have any behavioral problems. And that will last about 4 or 5 years until the new group gets in. But, I slept well at night. My assistant coaches, their respect for our program went up. I never lost any of them. The players in the community, the respect for the program went up. The program got healthier, and we were building a real team. Cancer doesn't work. So when teamwork can be the most competitive edge in your business right now, having a great team can be your competitive edge. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, people acting together as a group can accomplish things no individual acting alone can ever bring about. In business, there are many models. There's many models of business today, okay? You've got the owner, and the owner, any employees are part of his team. So it could be a one-man operation or whatever. Then you have a department manager. This could be your sales manager. And so members of his team report to him. You got your direct sales model, like an Aflac, like network marketing, like financial services, insurance, where everybody's an independent contractor, but they're part of a team. You have interrelated teams. For example, people that you count on, your vendors, your suppliers, your clients, your board of directors, your advisory team. And so there's so many models that you're building teams. Each model has its own challenges, its own strategies for team success. We're going to cover more and more about this team building. I've got some experts in the field that what they do is they do consulting. They've built teams themselves. And so I'm going to pull from them. I'm going to get information from them. I'm going to give them credit, of course. But I'm going to be developing this more and more on really focusing on how do you build those elite teams and how does each model function. You know, what you can do to make this series on building a team even better, you can send in some questions or statements. Now, you can send them in on my email, which is joe@piciandpici.com. You can call me at 407-947-2590. I can either use your name on the air or I can keep you anonymous. But if you'll send me those questions about anything to do with building great teams, then we'll answer those questions on the air. Now, as we bring this to a close, Sales Edge comes out twice a week. Of course, we said our sponsor is Peachy and Peachy. A free download for you if you'll take your iPhone or your Android and type in 55678, and then in the message put Sales Edge. Now, if it's an iPhone, you're going to have to put quotes. You don't want the word to break up. If you send that, it's going to take you to a link that will take you to a landing page where you can get some free downloads. One of them is about LinkedIn. Another one is about sales. You can also pass this out because on the bottom of that download are links to our podcast. As of a month ago, we had hit 24 countries. We're excited about that. We want to continue to grow, and we thank you for your loyalty. We thank you for being part of Sales Edge. We want this to be a value. Another thing you can send to me is, what would you like us to talk about in future episodes? We got tremendous amount of content because this is what we do. But if there are certain topics you'd like us to cover, if there are certain areas you'd like us to go deeper in, let us know. And once again, never be afraid to call me to have a complimentary cup of Joe. This is Joe Peachy. This has been The Sales Edge, episode number 29, and we'll see you in our next podcast.
Thanks for listening. New episodes will air each Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star review. The Sales Edge is sponsored by Peachy and Peachy Incorporated, a firm which provides training, consulting, and keynote presentations, empowering corporations and individuals to attract and retain quality clients for higher revenues and growth. Make more money in sales. Speak with Joe in person by calling 407-947-2590 or visit www.peachyandpeachy.com, spelled PICIAND, PICI.com.